Thank you.
Is that better?
That's correct. Thank you for the introduction. This is my disclosures. The effect of pregnancy on the pelvic floor in the long term is still unknown. As a consequence, the relative impact of vaginal delivery and the protective effect of a cesarean section are still unresolved issues. Therefore, the aims of this study was to compare the late prevalence and severity of urinary incontinence in women 40 to 65 years of age after one pregnancy and one vaginal delivery and the calculated risk reduction of one cesarean section. We used age and BMI matched cohorts. We used 3 randomly selected national cohorts. In the nulliparous group, we had 9,000 women, and a 1 para group, vaginally delivered, 3,800 women, and the smallest group, the C-section group, 1 para, with about 1,400 women. All with these women, the paras women, were surveyed 20 years after birth. We used validated questionnaire with ICS, IUGA definitions of urinary incontinence. The effect of pregnancy was measured by comparing the C-section group with the nulliparous women. And to estimate the effect of vaginal delivery, we used the cesarean group to compare with vaginal delivered women. The logistic regression model showed that the probability of urinary incontinence increased similarly between ages 40 and 65 years, with a rather constant gap between groups, which is contradictory to earlier reports that claim that urinary incontinence is dissipating around, the protective effect of cesarean is dissipating around menopause. The same trajectory was observed for moderate to severe urinary incontinence. The gap even seemed to increase with age after vaginal delivery. For the first time, we were able to measure the long-term effect on urinary incontinence of one pregnancy. It showed that there was a consistent trend towards more severe forms of urinary incontinence after a pregnancy compared with nullipara. The effect of one pregnancy followed by vaginal delivery had an even higher risk of urinary incontinence and all of the more severe forms of urinary incontinence. And the protective effect of cesarean section amounted to a 30% reduction in urinary incontinence and 35 to 45% reduction of more severe forms of urinary incontinence. So in conclusion, pregnancy alone without the influence of vaginal delivery had a long-term effect on the future risk of UI. C-section is protective for the additive effects of vaginal delivery on the urinary incontinence function. And the burden of urinary incontinence after childbirth does not subside with aging, but more likely persist throughout life. And I will welcome everyone to ICS 2019 in Gothenburg.
Good work. The floor is open for discussion.
Very nice study, very interesting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Could you tease out in your woman that had the cesarean section, what stage of labor was it done? Not all C-sections are created equal. Were they all elective C-sections without labor? Were they in labor after a certain number of hours of pushing?
This was a mixed cohort of elective and acute cesarean sections.
Thank you very much. Very nice paper. Did you look at bowel symptoms?
Yes. We will present that in Gothenburg. The teaser.
A good teaser.
So I know this has been a long time ongoing discussion about cesarean and its protective effects and under what circumstances. You note that this is contradictory to some other studies, and just wondered if you had thoughts about what aspects of it are different that would give you different results.
I think I refer to the Eppincon study from Norwegian, a very famous study. that study wasn't designed to look into this problem about the effects of different modes of delivery. I think that's the reason. They had very few numbers of cesarean section in older ages of the women.
Okay. In the
Hey.
front?
Thank you for the presentation. Yingsheng from Michigan. I have a question. Do you have the data about the vaginal delivery, the manners, like deliver the baby in the natural manner or the use of forceps, some other assistant delivery, if they have a different UI?
Yes, we have all the obstetric data from the women that is included in this study. But in this study, we just decided to adjust for BMI and age. But we have the data, and we have presented data before on the one pair of women, women delivered by vacuum extraction and so on.
Okay, great.
And
Thanks.
the last question, comment?
Just to go back on that comment, so if you have the data, you probably have the data from your registry of what was the stage of C-section that it was made, because that would be important, because we're looking to see if pregnancy itself is having an effect, and that's what you're coming to a conclusion. But maybe 30 years ago, those C-sections were after 2 hours of second stage, and this is a totally different kettle. So there is an effect of labor that you can't tease unless you get that data. So it'd be important for your paper to go back.
We have no data on which stage we did a cesarean section, but I think if we knew that, we have a lot of acute cesarean section in this group, and that will overestimate the rates of urinary incontinence if they were fully dilated and maybe on the pelvic floor for 2 hours. So I think that will overestimate the results in the cesarean group.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks a lot for all speakers. Thank you a lot for all attending and all the great comments. And we wish you nice rest of the meeting and safe travels.